Mahmud Seth was ruling the city. He had a flour mill and 2 sons. The elder son named Umair and the younger son Usman. Mahmud had a heart disease, so he wanted to put the burden of his business on his both sons. But Usman spent most of his time on social welfare. Mahmud and his older son Umair did not like Usman when he spent time in service of the people. They kept telling him not to waste his time and money. When Mahmud started to name his business to both of his sons, the elder son Umair very wisely took Mahmud to his side in his words and said that he should not do anything in the name of Usman, as he'll share his hard work with the poor. At the request of his father, Usman started coming to the factory, but he increased the salaries of the elderly and the needy in the factory. Both Mahmud and Umair were displeased by Usman's action. Usman started giving one meal to his all workers, which caused a huge argument between Umair and Usman. But Usman was forced to help the poor because of his kindness. Whether it was the factory or office, the name of Usman was talked about. Umair thought that he would make Usman leave the office or the city. For this purpose, Umair started borrowing money from the market in the name of Usman, built a house with this money and started distributing it to the poor. This way, a huge debt incurred on the company's name. When Mahmud was asked to pay the debt, Mahmud refused and said that Usman is not my son. I owe him a debt. So let Usman's name be bad both in the city and in the market. As Usman wasn't able to pay the debt, he had to leave the city. The bus, for which Usman bought the ticket for going to another city, caught fire suddenly. No one came to help. The police and people were standing around the bus. Usman saved the people of the bus by breaking the window and saved their lives from the incident. Due to this incident, Usman became a hero on TV and newspaper. Usman started living in a village. In this village, everyone was drowning in grief. Some houses were crying. Usman went to a woman and asked,
"Why are you crying?"
And the woman said that a tigress came in this village every night and takes away the young children and the one who is 1 week old. And today my son has become 1 week old. That's why I'm crying. The lion will take him too. Usman was very surprised hearing this, and he kept thinking that why the tigress only takes away the small children at night. Tigress came and took another 1 week old child with her, after which the whole village was in commotion. Usman thought that he would get the bottom of this matter. Usman hid in the bushes and started waiting for the tigress. When he saw the tigress, he followed her very carefully. In the forest, the tigress went inside her cave, but Usman waited outside and he didn't go inside. He kept waiting for the tigress hiding outside the cave till morning. In the morning, when the tigress came out of the cave, Usman went inside the cave. There was no blood. There were no bones. It was known that tigress had never eaten a child. So where did the children go? Usman began to carefully examine the cave. Suddenly, his hand touched a button and a door opened. Usman went inside there, and after walking a little distance, he saw some people. After listening to those, Usman get to know that they were talking about smuggling these children. Usman understood the whole thing. The lioness was trained. A man from the village had shaken his hand with a smuggler. He would bring pictures of the children and show them to the tigress. Then she would pick up this child and get it to the cave. Then his boss sells the 1 week old babies to people who did not have children and smuggle the rest of the children out for wrongdoing. Usman went out after seeing all this. After going to the city and taking the police and media with him to the village, the police caught Tigress and entire gang very smartly. After all of this, Usman started working with an NGO. One day, Usman went to an old age house after he helped a lot of people through the NGO. There he saw his father, where he was lying very sick on the bed. Usman started crying seeing his father's condition.
What happened to you, my father?
Mahmud was both happy and ashamed to see Usman and asked for forgiveness and said,
Forgive me, son. I used to stop you from doing good deeds, but my other son took everything from me and left me here in the old house in another city.
Usman helped his father and took him home with him and took a good care of his father. Now, when Mahmud recovered fully, he started doing good works for the elderly along with Usman as well.